Now that I've gone over the 6 short stories from Saints and Sinners number 1, I figured I would make this ranking video. So I'll begin with number 6 being my least favorite to number 1 being my favorite. And since there will be some spoilers, I will list my ranking in the description below for those that haven't read them just yet and don't want to be spoiled. Let's begin. Number 6 is The Weight of Restraint, written by Eric July. This book was overall disappointing up until the very last page when we found out that the inmate that is locked up is Sanford Williard, who is Isam's best friend and ranch manager. I didn't care much about the legal side of the city, but I wanted to see how the story would end, so there was some curiosity there. I did get a bit excited about the reveal at the end, but the rest of the book, not so much. Jackson's character was a bit interesting, but after I read his document card. The art is okay, it's fine, but it's not my favorite style. I do like some parts like the prison scenes and especially how Sanford held back trying to go for the gut of the inmate that's trying to kill him. There is an interesting idea here, like why they want to keep some folks locked up. And there's a scene where Jackson goes to another building to see if there's any public information regarding a sealed file or sealed files. I think if that scene would have shown Jackson discovering images or footage of some folks doing some heinous things and the folks up in the food chain are hiding this and trying to blame it on other people, I think it would have gone a long way. If there is a book coming out, of course I'll get it, and I'm sure things introduced here will be fleshed out there. So I'm hoping for the best. From here on, the rest of the books I enjoyed. Next up is number 5, which is The Underdog, written by the Saska sisters. This story was such a delight to read. This is a lighthearted story of a man who is constantly disrespected until one day he is given a chance and he makes the most of it when he defeats Big Tuna. Yes, that Big Tuna from Horseman Welcome to Flores Park, which means that this takes place before Welcome to Flores Park. Larry Shungite is a loving son and a great uncle. The dude is just a likable guy, but ultimately considered an underdog. I hope we find out soon what was the reason he left for 2 years and suddenly came back looking big. He might be an ex-F, he might not be. Hopefully soon we'll find out. Lincoln Eusebio also makes an appearance here, and he's a character in this universe I do not trust alongside that cop Mick Davis. I still think something fishy is up with them. Number 4 is One Little Push, written by Will Jordan. The tone from this story is one that I enjoyed so much. A professional assassin being hired by Darren Fontano to kill Yara, I'm with it. The dark tone and the atmosphere that it has is fantastic. I'll even say if Kane's target was Altona, which would have made a lot more sense to get revenge for what Avery did in ISOM 3, the story would have probably taken second place. Matter of fact, Eric could implement this idea in ISOM 4, since Altona and Yara don't know who Kane's target was. Even though Yara had that strange feeling prior to her leaving the projections building, Avery could interpret that this assassination attempt was an attempt on Altona's life. Just something to think about. The main reason this lands on number 3 is because I wish Kane hadn't died. As I said in my review, this character felt different than the other XFs for hire, and I would have liked to see him in the future books somewhere that's not in the past. And Joker from Velvet Room Publishing shares the same sentiment about Kane, so I'm not the only one that feels that way. Number 3 is Chasing Ghosts, written by Az from Heels vs. Babyface. Az managed not to ruin Ingrid, which is a character that is very much well liked. This is a detective story where Ingrid gets paired with Detective Callie from Alpha Corps number 1. As you guys know, relations between the regular cops and Alpha Corps are not well at this time, especially after the crash of Eagle's Nest, which killed one of their own. So I love the back and forth between Callie and Ingrid. Bloodruth had a scene as well, which did make some sense considering the recent deaths and who was involved, which brings us to the new characters that Az created, which I'm interested in learning more of actually, especially after finding out what 2 of them can do and learn some of what they've done in the past, which you can go over to Velvet Room Publishing, where he goes over some of that in the Saints and Sinners concept art book. And one last thing I loved was Ingrid visiting Wilkins at the cemetery. I'm so glad that Az had a scene like this. When it comes to Smiley, the demon, I think that's what he is if I remember correctly, he's just something extra. If he wasn't there, it wouldn't have made a difference. And he doesn't take away any enjoyment of the story. Like I said, he's just something extra in the very last panel of the story. Number 2 is A Cross to Bear, written by J. David. I thought this was going to be my number 1 favorite short story, but then Marler came in with his story and slapped the hell out of me. This story is about Cameron Cross, who is a cyborg, and we first meet him out in the city at night in the rain. Now Cameron has a very sad past where he was forced to commit atrocities on behalf of the government. He is a man who was stripped of his will and will be looking for redemption. This may not have been my number 1 favorite short story of Saints and Sinners number 1, but it is the one story out of all 6 of them where I want a full book continuation right now. And finally, number 1 is Bone God, written by Callum Edmonds. The biggest surprise I think I've had from Rippaverse is this story, because I went into it believing and truly believing 100% I was not going to like this story and probably hate it. But my jaw dropped when I finished this story. Callum and Will Conrad gave us a story with an ending to remember, or at least that's how I feel. The horror elements, the art, the build up to those last couple of pages were outstanding. I love how their lust for money and for immortality in the case of Adam ultimately came and bit them in the ass, except for 2 characters. I do wonder how this story will continue because Adam is not dead. It's going to be very interesting how they handle the continuation to this, which I hope they do. And if they do, I hope Callum is paired with Will again. Fantastic job, guys. So there's my ranking for the short stories in Saints and Sinners number 1, but do let me know in the comment section your ranking list for this book. I'm curious to know y'all's list. Put it all down in the comment section and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care, y'all.